It's showtime.
There's going to be some personal factors such as your skills, your education, your experience, who've inspired you. All of this plays a significant role in determining your success and your wealth and how you're going to be able to handle it. We're in the building. First of all, we want to thank each and every last one of our supporters just for continuing to support us on this journey. We want to thank you guys just for your questions again and your comments that you're leaving in the comments section. Shout out to Anderson.
How you doing, guys? I'm Anderson. As always, it's a pleasure. Exciting content on the way. Great conversation. I hope you're ready. That's all I gotta say. I hope you're ready.
Man, listen, I sincerely hope you guys ready for this, because today we're going to be talking about success and wealth, and a very important factor of it. Success and wealth is not for everybody. And before we get started, I just want to kind of like bring in my man, Kevin Hart, real quick, just to kind of talk on this topic.
Biggest drug. It's not cocaine. It's not heroin. It's fame. Anything you want, everything you want, it's a thing. And if you can't handle this thing, the consequences attached are severe.
That's right. Y'all heard him. Kevin Hart said it. He said it. Him key things that I think that we all need to, focus on, either before we become successful or on the way to being successful. We need to discuss the fact that there's limited resources, there's competition, there's a systemic barrier. Today, we're going to be debunking that myth that says that you have to be luck. It's luck, or you have to be lucky before you become successful or you obtain any substantial amount of wealth. What do you think about that, Anderson?
Well, I think we have a lot on our hands today, and that's absolutely necessary for when you get ready for that moment. Like Kevin Hart just said it, a lot of people get focused on the shiny things, the glamour, the beautiful things that people gain from that success, but we don't often talk about what happens behind the curtains, the work before you get there. And that's why I think it's very important that we address that.
Yeah, so listen, we're going to go ahead and dive right on in. Number one, let's talk about the limited resources. When I talk about limited resources, there's only a finite amount of wealth and resources available for everyone to share equally. We always often talk about how the rich continue to get richer and the poor continue to get poorer. You know what? Believe it or not, that is a fact. However, on the other side of it, there's only a limited amount of infinite resources for all of us to share equally amongst themselves.
But then I have a question for you. I think many people would ask themselves the same thing. What do you mean by limited resource? Are you saying it as people using it as an excuse for not being able to produce what they want to produce? Or are you just saying, hey, this is a fact. There's limited resource. Either you're going to be at the top or at the bottom. Can you elaborate more on
and you pretty much said it yourself. Either you're going to be at the top or you're going to have the desire to be at the top. That way you can acquire the resources that you need. Either you can handle that, and knowing that either you have to get the resources that you need in order for you to be at the top. Either you can handle that, or either you just handle it and be okay with the fact that, hey, there's not infinite enough resources. The rich are getting richer and the poor are going to keep getting poorer.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why this is the topic of today. Can you handle it? We're humans and we all abide to the law of survival. You're either the predator or you're the prey. There's no way around that. Obviously, being successful has a lot of benefits.
Yes.
But people don't often talk about all the consequences of that fame.
Yes.
Why do you think somebody like Anthony Bourdain, with all the success they had, why would he commit suicide? Why would people one day be extremely successful and the other day they're completely forgotten. I mean, Dave Chappelle said it himself very well. I mean, when he was about to sign how many $millions contract with HBO, whatnot, and he had to run from it.
He says to be an actor is a lonely life. Everybody wants to make it, and you might not make it. And I said to my dad, well, that depends on what making it is, Dad. He was a smart ass kid. Yeah. It depends on what making it is, Dad. He says, what do you mean? I said, well, you're a teacher. I said, if I could make a teacher salary doing comedy, I think that's better than being a teacher. And he started laughing. He said, if you keep that attitude, I think you should go. He said, but name your price in the beginning. If it ever gets more expensive than the price you name, get out of there. Thus, Africa. You know, when we did Blue Streak, we were promoting it, and Martin had a stroke. He almost died. And then after that, I saw him. I was like, oh my God, Martin, are you okay? And he said, I got the best sleep I ever got in my life. That's how tough he is. So let me ask you this. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, they are trying to kill me? Yeah. What's going on? Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows.
Fame is not always a good thing, but at the same time, it's only for those who can handle it. You know, if you can handle all the pressure, like LeBron James been consistent for years and years. He's one of the most outstanding person off the court, and you know, from having multi-million contracts from 18 years old to being right now almost passing the scoring. He's gonna be the #1 scoring player in history. He's about to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's been playing for 20 years in plus. 20 years now. So to be this consistent and to handle all the pressure and the responsibility, it takes strong shoulders, and it takes a strong heart for you to be able to face all the obstacles and still keep.
Yeah, listen, you're absolutely right. You know, speaking of, you know, LeBron James, listen, you know, before LeBron James, you know, there was a Kobe, or maybe it was a LeBron James and a Kobe. But before LeBron James and Kobe, there was Michael Jordan. Okay, and again, you have to ask yourself, can you handle it? Because at every step of the way, you're going to have some competition. There's going to be competition every step of the way, and there's going to be some fierce competition. And in order for you to become immensely successful or obtain any amount of wealth, listen, you're going to have to be competitive and understand that everyone just can't come out on top. When you think about Michael Jordan has been in some fierce competitions, but Michael Jordan knew that there was only one person or one team that could come out on top. Shout out to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and to all my basketball fans over there, Michael Jordan is one of the most clutch players. Will you be ready for those clutch moments? Damian Lillard, his slogan is Dame Time, because time and time again, he's hit those crazy buzzer beaters. People think that it's luck. It has nothing to do with luck. This guy, if you look at his training videos, he's in the gym shooting those crazy shots. And Steph Curry, same too. When you look at his practices, he's out here shooting some crazy shots. And you're like, why are you practicing those shots? You'll probably never hit those. But when you see him in the game and these shots look, you know, Staffordless, ridiculous, but he works on that, you know. So you have to be prepared for when that opportunity comes. You have to stay ready, so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah,
you know,
listen,
you heard that enough.
Yeah, the competition. The third one, folks, is
confidence.
confidence. I'm glad you said that, you brought it up. You have to be very confident knowing that you can make it happen. There's going to be some, number 3 is going to be the personal factors that allow you to be successful, or allow you to even be able to handle being successful. There's going to be some personal factors such as your skills, your education, your experience, who've inspired you. All of this plays a significant role in determining your success and your wealth and how you're going to be able to handle it.
And on that point, I think we covered that in the last video too. It has to do with exposure. You know, we talked about the things you expose yourself to on a daily basis and the thing you've been exposed to subconsciously. So it has to do with those personal factors, is all the outside elements that shaped your character and the way you think, the way you act. People you put yourself around of, the things that you listen to, that you watch. Because in order to build that vision, the person, the character, the person that you want to become, let's be honest, you inspire yourself. You have to see it. Sometimes you don't see it around you, but you have to see it here in your mind. You have to create that person and work towards that person. You have to see yourself in 50 years and say, okay, this is what I want to become, and daily work towards that. And in order to be able to build that vision, it has to do with the things you've been surrounded yourself of. It doesn't come out of the blue.
Yeah, listen, let me piggyback on that. The fact that you have to see yourself. Listen, even if you're hiking on the hiking trail and you're trying to get to the top of Everest Mountain, if you don't see yourself being able to get to the top, I can guarantee you that you will not get there. If I'm gonna hop in my car and I'm gonna drive from Dallas, Texas to California, I have to see myself being able to get to Hollywood. If you don't see yourself getting there, then I can guarantee you, in most cases, you won't get there because you don't even see yourself getting there. You haven't even thought about the things that you're gonna do once you get there. You haven't envisioned all the sights, the food, the culture that you're gonna experience once you get to California. So again, these are some of the personal factors that comes into play when you asking yourself whether or not can you handle being successful. If you don't see yourself becoming the movie creator that you're trying to be, if you don't see yourself being that world-known singer that you're trying to be, that doctor, that attorney, if you don't see yourself being that business owner, that realtor, or whatever it is that you're trying to be, then I can guarantee you won't get there because you can't see it for yourself. You don't know what it looks like.
But then again, there's the part where you need to see yourself there. But after that, you need to understand what it actually takes to get there and the responsibilities that comes with it. It's one thing to see yourself. Okay, what does it actually mean to see myself as being a successful entrepreneur, a successful doctor, success? You know, what does it actually mean? Okay, I have to work. I have to get my degree. I have to work towards that every day. I have to be top class to be there. You know, you want the success, but I think the next step is to understand the steps that it takes for you to get there.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, well, there are some fundamental steps. When I started my business, listen, I was the number one employee. I was the accountant. Okay, I was a secretary. I did it all. And if you don't see yourself doing it all and running your business and you being the only one there in the interim, you having to do everything all by yourself, if you don't see yourself doing that or taking those necessary steps for you to do those things, then it just won't happen for you. Those are just 3 of the steps, but we're gonna go down a little bit deeper here right now and talk about some of the other things that you need to know that you can handle before you even get there. Number 4 is gonna be the systemic barriers that you're going to have to overcome the systemic barriers that are going to be, in your way, such as discrimination, prejudice. These things are going to prevent individuals or groups from achieving the amount of success or wealth that they desire. And so you have to ask yourself, can you handle it?
And you speaking about systemic barriers. Let's give a thought to, we're talking about discrimination. Let's give a thought to Tyre Nichols, who was assassinated. This was someone who was working towards something, who was just building himself up, and some obstacles come out of nowhere, and you still have to face those, So it may not be easier for certain people. So it may be harder for you than it is for another, but can you handle it? Again, you have to go through it, it's a choice. There's always going to be obstacles. Wherever you come from, whoever you are always going to face obstacles of some sort. It's a matter of...
Yeah, you're definitely going to face some, obstacles. And I got one even better than that, Anderson. I got just a personal question for you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, and shout out to Burundi, can you tell me any instances that you have had from you being from Burundi coming to America? Can you tell me about any discrimination or prejudices that you have faced since you've been here in America or on your way to becoming successful?
Well, I'm not gonna talk about any prejudice or discrimination, but obstacles that I had to face. I've had to learn the language faster than any other person. I've had to adapt faster than any other person. I had to be part of the community. I didn't have a choice but to adapt, and it made me grow. So even though it's an obstacle today, I see it as a blessing because it helps you grow faster. Coming from a totally different background, I've been blessed to kind of move around. So I've been used to getting to adapt to foreign environments. It's a blessing in disguise. It gave me even more pride to talk about my country. I'm going to tell people where I'm from every time. So that became kind of my mission, to become an ambassador of my country. We can pull a link in the description. I just released an article, and there's a video that's going to come on my YouTube that's called Integration versus Culture. That's exactly what we're talking about. Adaptation, the process of... So to answer your questions, the process of the adaptation was hard, yes, but it's also a blessing in disguise.
That's right. Listen, I know for a fact. Listen, you got a heck of a story to tell, and one day we just want to allow you just to share your story with all of our followers that are watching and continue to tune in. I want you to share your story because we all have a story, and your story is not my story, and my story is not your story, but we all have a story about some obstacles that we had to overcome, or some obstacles that we had to not just go over or maybe go around or either go under for us to actually get to where we are.
It's showtime.